You sit there. The silence suddenly feels heavy and you realize you have no idea how to just be a man here. You feel completely alone. Am I too old for this? Does she see my gray hair? Did I lose my edge? Am I just boring her? Dating is hard. You are trying to play a young man's game with an old man's heart and it just doesn't work. It feels impossible. The date isn't failing because you're aging. It's failing because you're trying to audition for a role you already outgrew 20 years ago. You're not failing at love. This isn't a sign that your best years are behind you or that you chose the wrong path in life. You are just human. Every man who has ever loved and lost has stood exactly where you are right now. You will date differently. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to step into your 50s with a quiet, unshakable confidence that makes you truly magnetic. Let's get into it. Most men believe this. Most men believe dating after 50 means you must hustle harder and pretend you have the endless energy of youth. But the truth is different. The real truth is your age is your greatest asset, not your liability, and hiding it only pushes love away. Your nervous system knows. When you perform youth, your nervous system goes into overdrive and you are constantly in fight or flight trying to prove your worth. She wants a harbor. She isn't looking for a boy who can keep up. Her nervous system is looking for safety, presence, and a man who doesn't need to prove anything. Not trying to dress younger. Not hiding your gray hair. Not pretending you have the stamina of a 25-year-old. But stepping fully into the grounded, unshakable reality of the man you've actually become. This changes everything. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. And she will feel the difference before you've even said a word. Here is the secret. Most guys over 50 think they need to fill every silence with a joke or a story to keep her engaged. It is just anxiety. Beneath the surface, that frantic talking is just anxiety masking itself as charm, and her nervous system reads it as instability. You become a tuning fork. Your nervous system on a first date is like a tuning fork vibrating at the exact frequency of your internal emotional state. She feels the resonance. Her brain is quietly registering. He actually sees me, not just an audience. Disconnecting sounds like this. So anyway, I was at the golf course and I saw this guy who, connecting sounds like this. You just look at her, hold the eye contact for 2 seconds and say, I'm just really enjoying this conversation. The walls come down. And when you do that, the walls between, you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. Listen to me, man. Most men in their 50s try to hide their past divorces, losses, or failures, thinking it makes them look damaged. It creates deep distance. But emotional distance in dating isn't like a wall. It's like a fog that rolls in when you stop being honest about who you are. You start to withdraw. When you hide your history, you withdraw, and what looks like confidence is usually just a guy who is terrified of being judged. She wants your reality. Something in her is saying, he doesn't need to hide his past. He's comfortable in his own skin. Disconnecting sounds like this. My ex was crazy. It just didn't work out. You know how it is. Connecting sounds like this. My last marriage taught me a lot about what I missed, and I'm doing the work to be better now. She feels safe here. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Here's the part no one talks about. Most people in relationships, especially older guys, fall into the trap of giving advice instead of just listening. It kills the connection. What looks like helpful advice is usually just a guy trying to fix the moment because he's uncomfortable with her emotions. Safety goes underground. When safety leaves a dynamic, the connection doesn't disappear. It goes underground and cycles of unspoken resentment begin to form. She just wants presence. What's moving through her is, I forgot how good it feels to just be heard. Disconnecting sounds like this. Well, you should just tell your sister to stop doing that. It's really simple. Contacting sounds like this. That sounds incredibly frustrating, man. How are you holding up with all that right now? It becomes a refuge. That's the shift that turns a date that feels like an interview into one that feels like a refuge. And here's what changes everything. Most guys try to lead with their resume, their career, their assets, their status, to establish value. It blocks real intimacy. But true connection doesn't happen in the boardroom of your achievements. It happens in the quiet moments of your humanity. She wants your soul. Intimacy isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the 30-second ones. When you choose to look up and drop the armor, you become discoverable. Disconnecting sounds like this. I just sold my company and I'm looking at real estate in Miami. It's a great investment. Connecting sounds like this. I've spent 30 years building my career, but lately I'm really focused on what actually brings me joy. You stop being evaluated. And when you do that, you stop being a resume to be evaluated and start being a man to be discovered. This is where it gets really interesting. Most men over 50 either rush physical intimacy to prove they still have it, or they avoid it completely out of fear. It creates deep anxiety. Your nervous system in a romantic escalation is like a smoke detector. It cannot tell the difference between moving too fast and actual danger. She needs to breathe. When you rush the physical pacing, her nervous system sounds the alarm, and patterns of mixed signals just lead to drift. Clarity is attractive. This isn't a dating hack. This is just what an emotionally mature man naturally does when he knows his own worth. She feels your certainty. Disconnecting sounds like this. Leaning in too fast, making it about your ego, ignoring her subtle body language, pulling back. Connecting sounds like this. Pulling back slightly, reading her cues and saying, "I'm really enjoying being close to you, but I want to make sure you're comfortable." The unspoken anxiety fades. And when you do that, the unspoken anxiety of dating fades and real, grounded intimacy can actually begin. Trust me on this, bro. Most guys think being a nice guy means saying yes to everything she wants to avoid conflict or rejection. It creates deep resentment. But what looks like easygoing flexibility is usually just a guy who has been so afraid of losing her that he loses himself. Boundaries create safety. When you have no boundaries, she feels like she's walking on eggshells because she doesn't know where your actual edges are. She wants your spine. Her brain is quietly registering. He actually knows what he stands for. I can trust him. Disconnecting sounds like this. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. I'll just cancel my plans. Connecting sounds like this. I'd love to see you, but I don't do last-minute plans anymore. Let's plan for Thursday. You become solid. That's when she stops feeling like she's managing a boy and starts feeling like she's dating a man. But here's what nobody explains. Most men make the mistake of making a new woman the sole center of their universe right out of the gate. It creates heavy pressure. What looks like romantic devotion is usually an anxious attachment pattern, playing out between two people who both actually want the same thing. She wants to be added. She wants to be a beautiful addition to your already full life, not the entire foundation of your existence. You become magnetic. When you maintain your purpose, you stop being a needy vacuum and start being a gravitational pull. Disconnecting sounds like this. Canceling your hobbies, ignoring your friends, and clearing your entire schedule just to be available for her 24/7. Connecting sounds like this. I have my volunteer work on Tuesday, but I'm completely free Wednesday night and can't wait to see you. The dynamic lightens. That's when the dynamic shifts from a heavy expectation into a light, joyful turning toward each other. This isn't a checklist. This isn't a checklist of tricks to get a second date. It's an invitation to stop performing and start embodying the man you've spent 50 years becoming. It changes everything now. When you internalize this, you stop chasing and start attracting. And she will feel the difference in your presence before you've even ordered a drink. You are becoming real. These aren't tips for a better dating life. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Real connection starts here. Real connection doesn't start when you find the right woman. It starts when you decide to become the right man.